You're listening to Thursday Night Tailgate with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lazari, where NFL legends live on. Back to you, boys.
It's him. He's alive.
And now back and making her sixth appearance with us on the Kyvan Foods guest line is our wonderful friend in Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory Executive Director Ann Jewell. Ann has been a wonderful friend of the show over the years, and we continue to be honored to have Ann in the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory as one of our partners. You hear us bragging about the museum and what they're doing in the Bat Vault every week here on Thursday Night Tailgate. They've got some great new exhibits and offers going on now through October. Check them out online at sluggermuseum.com, and we're honored that Ann is back with us again tonight here on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Ann, Chris, and Bob, thanks for coming back on the show.
Hi, Ann.
It's great to be here 6 times. Is this the 6th time, or is this the 7th time?
This is 6. This makes number 6.
Wow, all right.
I know.
I love it.
I know. So, Ann, first of all, congratulations. You were telling me, before the show that you've got a record-setting summer so far at the museum. Very exciting news. Good for you guys. Talk about what's going on.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are catching our breath. This is our 21st year of being open in this location. We've been giving factory tours through the Louisville Slugger Bat Factory since at least the 1940s or so. But when we opened this location with the big bat out front 21 years ago, we had no idea. We're approaching 5 million guests over this time period. And this past July, after 21 years, we are still growing. July was a record-setting, our best month in our history, and it really has been an amazing year so far with what's going on, and we're really excited about it. We want to keep the momentum going. We're planning some renovations at our place, and I know how much you guys love the Bat Vault. You will be so happy to hear that, yes, the Bat Vault is definitely going to get a significant facelift, a bigger footprint. We're going to be doing more activities in a new and improved Bat Vault once these renovations are done. So you're going to have to come back for that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's, of all the great things, and there's so many great things about the museum, the Bat Vault is by far, my favorite piece. And, I had the opportunity to be in there and, hold a bat for my hero, Willie Stargell. Got to see his contract that he signed with you guys, way back when. $100 was the contract, Bob, that they paid Willie Stargell to use Louisville Slugger bats. So that was certainly one of the highlights of the trip. And you've got some other great things going on associated with Louisville native Muhammad Ali plus Hank Aaron called Ali and Aaron United in the Fight. There's a fantastic mural of the two of them in the context of the civil rights movement. Talk about what you have going on with those two guys.
We were so honored to be asked to take part in a special celebration for Muhammad Ali. You probably remember the amazing display of emotion and love that poured out from around the world when Ali passed away. And we had the ceremony in Louisville that was covered, as he traveled through Louisville. And a year later, after that, the Ali Center wanted to do something special, so they came up with this celebration that focused on the different principles that he really celebrated in his life, and they asked different attractions and really the entire community to try to get involved somehow, and to maybe do something special that would just really highlight something, one of his principles in his life. And as we looked into it, this great opportunity, and we thought, well, how do we tie this into baseball? And he was a big baseball fan. And it would have been easy for us to sort of do a photo, exhibit of Muhammad Ali at baseball games and with baseball players and so on. And that would have been fine. But we really, really felt that this was a great time to do something extra special, especially for the life that he lived and what he believed in. And so as we dug around, we found this terrific quote that he said about Hank Aaron. And so Muhammad Ali said about Hank Aaron, he's the only man I idolize more than myself. And isn't that great? Yeah. So
it's great.
So that got our attention. And as we looked further into it, part of that really had to do with Aaron's role as a hero, in his march toward breaking Babe Ruth's record, and the terrible racism and racist hatred that he faced as he approached that home run record. But the way that he handled it, the perseverance that he showed, and the grace and the strength and so on, was such an inspiration to so many people. So that's kind of where this exhibit took off. And so we've got these two, great athletes who certainly accomplished amazing things on the field and were cheered for by people of all races. But despite all that, right, they faced great obstacles and racism off the field in their personal lives and so on. And they had such different styles. That's part of the message too. You've got the flamboyant and the kind of, outrageous almost Muhammad Ali, just loving that limelight. And then you've got the sort of quiet, more reserved approach of Hank Aaron, and the notion of staying true to yourself, no matter what you're confronting, and the inspiration that they provided for all of us. And so we took that. It's this giant mural. It's like 10 feet tall and almost 40 feet long. And we had this wonderful artist, Victor Sweat. And by the way, anyone, you can check this out. There's photos of it on our website and so on. But Victor Sweat, our local artist, took this idea and put these two icons in these great poses, in the field, and then kind of in the context of the civil rights movement and sort of a history timeline in a very emotional way, where they're sprinkled in with other leaders and moments of civil rights, so that you're kind of walking through this, and to the point where, okay, yes, we've come this far, but there's still so much to do. Today we had to bring it through to present day. That was important to us. And one of the most really my favorite parts even of this whole experience, we really wanted it to be interactive. And so we asked people, part of the mural includes these questions: what beliefs do you go to bat for? And what freedoms do you fight for? And people have been leaving their answers to those questions on the walls in the room,
wow,
in the gallery. And thousands. I mean, it's just plastered. We've provided sticky notes and things to write with, and people have just really gone above and beyond in terms of participating in this. And it's all ages. You can tell when you look at the writing. There's children doing it, on up through adults. The notes, the messages that they leave are very moving. It's really just made for an amazing, memorable experience, and one that we hope people will take with them when they leave, that they will remain inspired, and think back to this. And the show is going to be up. The original date was through October 8th, but it has been there's been such a wonderful reaction to it that we are trying to find some ways to maybe keep it up longer. And something else that we had planned in that room, we might try to stage somewhere else just so we can keep this up.
And speaking of the things that those two gentlemen faced with the civil rights issues, you got a taste. I was reading an article. You got a taste of some of that. What they had to go through and what the African American players had to deal with when Frank Robinson was selected as one of your living legends back in 2008. Do you mind sharing that story?
Oh my gosh. Okay. No, I don't mind sharing it. But I do get, it does go right through me. So, right. Frank Robinson, we do this Living Legend Award every year. And, Frank Robinson was one of our early recipients. I think he was our second or third recipient. And, the day that he was set for the ceremony, I received on my phone a horrific message from a a coward, with just loaded with just racial attacks against me, against Frank Robinson, the fact that we picked him and how could we do that, and just, you can imagine the language and the words, and that this person wanted me to die personally because we were, selecting African Americans for this award, although he certainly didn't use that word over and over and over again. And I just, I heard the message not long before the ceremony was to get started. And I just, I had never imagined, what that could feel like, to have that kind of hatred just thrown at you. And I mean, the sound of his voice, everything about it. So it really shook me up. And I was even embarrassed at how much it impacted me, because I thought, holy cow, these guys lived with this over and over and over again, and their families and everything else. And how did they do that? I mean, I get this one call and I'm a wreck. And they put up with this time and time again for years. And so, when I went to talk to our security head about it and some other folks, and I just kind of broke down, and they listened to it and so on too. And we decided that we needed to let Mr. Robinson know, that this had happened, and give him the option of not coming, because we really didn't know, there were death threats in there. The death threats were directed at me, but, still, it was all based in this racism. And, so we didn't know, if there was a danger or not. And so the message was relayed to Mr. Robinson, and, I was so moved that his response was that he was sorry that I had to experience that. And of course he would absolutely be there. See you soon, kind of thing. And I get a little choked up even still talking about it, because he to this day, just the example that he showed there of the way that he reacted to that, and for him to express concern for me, just, still kind of takes my breath away, honestly. So that is the story of what you're referring to there.
Yes. Unbelievably terrible story. And
it was, I guess, maybe a little naive on my part to think that, people, it just really was one of those moments where, oh my gosh, people like this really do exist. And this would have been, almost 8 years ago, I guess, probably 7-8 years ago at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your asking. Thank you. I appreciate that you would ask that and let me tell that story.
Bob, questions for Ann?
And I've always been impressed by the eclectic nature of this entire museum, and just by saying that, it kind of tells me that you have the type of job that it's not the same thing happening every day, but as far as normal as you can get, what would a typical day of Ann Jewell be going to the office? Tell me how that would be like. The most typical it can be. Tell me what that might be like.
Let's see. So I would say when I arrive in the morning, I'm always just kind of, as I'm walking to my office, I'm sort of checking down into the museum, because there's a balcony up above our museum. So as I walk through, I can kind of just look down and see, give it a once over, how are things looking and so on, and really start thinking about, what's going to be happening that day, special event wise or anything else. Certainly, checking in on probably working on some press releases for any events or things that might be coming up. Meeting with my team, coming up, planning for future exhibits or anything that might be unfolding that particular day. Working with any camera crews that might be coming by. Maybe they've given us a heads up and maybe they haven't. Maybe they've just dropped in from, PBS, dropped in the other day, which was great. And, just kind of lots of teamwork going on at our place. I mean, I meet with, in my position, I'm working with our retail director to talk about what kind of products we've got in the store and, how can I help him get whatever he needs to be a success there, walking through the factory, maybe kind of listening in on our tours. And we have, especially during the summer, lots of new tour guides. So just kind of contributing to any, training, feedback that might be going on with our guides. Make sure that we're given the best tours we can through the factory. And, gosh, as the day goes on, there might be even someone else famous might drop in and need a special VIP tour. So it's really a lot of planning, whether it's budgeting or ideas for future exhibits, and then just kind of being ready to go with the flow, for anything that might come up.
And what's blown our minds, and as far as Chris and I, we've always been impressed by the fact that you can go into that museum store and get your name on a Louisville Slugger bat. Chris has given them out to our Hall of Fame recipients. I have one here. It's just awesome. I'm thinking of kids that go in there that can have their name put on a bat. I think of me going to a Yankee game in around 1970 at Bat Day and just having an Elston Howard bat, and that was the greatest thing ever. But for a kid to get their own name on their bat, that must be priceless.
It sure is. And that's, as far as a typical day, that's probably my favorite part of just about any day is when I have the chance to see a kid or an adult turn into a kid when they see their name on one of our bats. It is such a delight to see that reaction. And now, even since the time that you guys would have visited, we have so many more colors, the sort of the technology, the ability to do things with the bats, color-wise and graphics-wise. There are so many options to choose from. Certainly the most popular right now still are the traditional natural color and the black bats. But there's such a variety now. It's a lot of fun to let people kind of get, make their own statement with different colors and messaging and so on the bats.
And one more before we let you go, and something I bet most people don't have an awareness of is Louisville Slugger owns bionic gloves. And they make gloves, golf gloves, work gloves, fitness gloves, and a new glove that Marshawn Lynch uses called Beast Mode gloves. And you've got an amazing event coming up with a Navy veteran. Do you mind telling that story?
Oh, I'd love to tell you about this. So, yes, his name is Rodney Hahn, and he is 56 years old, a Navy veteran. And Rodney uses our bionic gloves. He's one of our athletes. He's a physical trainer now these days. Rodney set a record for the most number of pull-ups in a 24-hour period. And so most of your listeners probably know, but if you think of a chin-up, a pull-up is a lot like a chin-up, but your hands are turned the other way. They're over sort of over the top of the bar. And so in his first attempt, when he set a record about a year, maybe a year and a half ago or so, he did over 6,800 pull-ups, 6,800 pull-ups in 24 hours. Can you imagine?
That's crazy. No.
So that record was broken by someone who did 7,600. So now Rodney wants to try to break, set another record, break the one that broke his. And I think, he's 56 years old now. I think he was 54 when he set the other record. So we said, and he just called and said, hey, I'm doing this. I love your gloves. They've made a big difference in my training. Would you mind, could I get some extra pairs? And we said, well, why don't you just come here and do it? We'd love to stage something like this in the museum. So he is going to be in our museum in the main gallery, front and center. We're setting up some pull-up bars. And this is going to be September 30th. And I will let you guys know, we are looking into doing a live stream of this event.
Wow.
And if we do that, I'll let you know, and maybe, you can share that if you want to, if anybody wants to check it out while he's going at this. But he's going to start at 11 a.m. on Saturday, September 30th. and he's shooting for 8,000 pull-ups in 24 hours. But if he just gets past the 7,600, then he'll break that record. And I just can't even imagine what's all going to unfold here. But it'll be a lot of fun and very inspiring. I think he is for sure.
Absolutely is. So, Ann, we can't thank you enough for your continued partnership and being a part of the show. I got 3 pages worth of questions I want to get through to you, and unfortunately just don't have enough time. Bob and I, we hope you'll come back again real soon, share more of your stories, more of your insights, and then update us on the great things you guys are doing, because it's so great. The museum's fantastic. We can't say it often enough how much we enjoyed being there and being a part of it, and having you guys as part of the show as one of our partners. You guys are so great.
Oh, thank you. We feel the same way about you, and I always, our team and me, myself, we all look forward to chatting with you guys. So we've got plenty more to tell you about. I know I told some long stories tonight, so thanks for the time, and it's always a blast to chat with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Ann. We look forward to catching up with you soon. In between now and then, all the best to you and your family and everyone there at the museum. Thanks for your time tonight.
Good night.
Take care.
Take care. That is Ann Jewell, and she is the executive director of the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory, and a fantastic person on top of all of that. And Bob, and I'm sure you've looked online at the exhibits they have going on. They've got a Lego one on display as well for some of the stadiums from around Major League Baseball, which is unbelievable. So much going on there. Hopefully we get Ann back on the show real soon. But that story about Frank Robinson is unbelievably disturbing. I couldn't believe it when I read it.
Yeah, it is incredibly disturbing, a sign of the times, Chris, but how it can make itself down to a place like that where there's a slice of Americana at that place, it's pretty disturbing. But Ann is the perfect person in that job. Chris does a great job promoting everything going on, and there are always things going on there. We just love talking to her, and that is such a cool place, man. We got to get down there.
Absolutely. And again, check it out online, sluggermuseum.com.